All right, YouTube, once again, it's Kennard Vernon Stewart here for the podcast. Go ahead and share this video to as many folks as you can. Another CarCast. Actually, once you hear the content, go ahead and leave a comment. It's always great to be an Auburn Tiger, War Eagle. The big question on the floor, the big tiger in the room at times, is my buddy Bo Nix. We got to talk about him again because there's a lot of, we've been doing some early kind of sort of schedule, slash record predictions. On the low end, we're talking 6-6, maybe on a bad case scenario, 5-7, which I think is very unlikely. And on the high end, I think we could kind of hover around the 8-4, 9-3. Maybe 10-3 with a bowl win, and I think that would be pretty respectable. And I think that would be pleasing to the typical Auburn fan, who's probably obviously tired of the 8-5 records, 8-4 regular season, and then losing the bowl game. Auburn fans have a lot of pride in this program, and 8-5, 7-6, making it to the Birmingham Bowl is a little bit more than a slap in the face. But the question on the floor tonight is, has Bo Nix been given a fair shot to be successful on the Power 5 level? And the reason why I ask this question, because I actually at times have been, a pretty big fan of Bo Nix, and also probably one of his most harsh critics. Because I really want to say, I see the potential. I see the athleticism. I've seen certain throws he's made. I've seen all that stuff. Go back and watch video, and I'm like, damn, this guy could actually be pretty good. But then on the flip side, he has a lot of behaviors, erratic behaviors, that keep him from even being in a conversation, not just as far as being an elite quarterback in the SEC, but just being a good quarterback, period. A good, reliable, sound quarterback. I'll tell you something. A lot of times when I, do these Bo Nix videos, I either lose a couple of subscribers or just get a whole bunch of backlash. But I really want you guys to be objective on this one. Let's just go back to Sean White, for example. Sean White was actually not elite by any stretch, but Sean White was halfway reliable. He made really good decisions. Maybe he had a better offensive line. That's debatable. Also debatable is the fact that there is statistical data that said that Jarrett Stidham was hurried and sacked and was under duress way more than Bo was, but a lot more accurate. Bo Nix statistically just has not been as accurate as what some of the guys that adamantly defend his case may think. Like I said, I want the kid to be successful, probably more than any of you know. But we have to be honest about the accuracy, about the reliability. And when we talk about going into a Power 5 football schedule that includes Penn State, that includes an up-and-coming SEC West genre of teams, that also includes teams that obviously recruit historically better than you and are going to be favored to beat you, LSU, Georgia, and Alabama. Quarterback play is going to be paramount. And I think quarterback play from, say, Jarrett Stidham. Sean White didn't actually get the chance because he was injured going down the stretch. Should have beat Georgia for sure. Georgia just was not a good football team that year. In, I think, 2016, when Auburn lost that game on the road, flirting with being the first team in the college football playoff era to have multiple losses and possibly make the playoffs. But the only caveat to that is you got to go through Alabama, who I just don't. I mean, just looking at that team, you know, coasting into the stretch on fumes, I just think even with a healthy Sean White and a healthy Cameron Petway, I just don't think Auburn had the tools to beat Alabama, especially on the road. And it kind of showed in that particular football game. But either way, Bo Nix, has he had a fair shot? You talk about a quarterback that has had now three different offensive coordinators, three different philosophies. Then you team that up with didn't have a spring last year. Of course, a lot of quarterbacks didn't have a spring last year. But Bo Nix really has not had a season plus a solid offseason as a quarterback. And I think that does make a difference. I really do. You talk about the pandemic year last year. Bo Nix coming off of a pretty questionable freshman year. But when was the last time a freshman actually started at Auburn, let alone most Power 5 teams? Trevor Lawrence didn't start as a freshman, right? I'm not too sure if Johnny Football started as a freshman. Cam Newton, definitely didn't start as a freshman. He was actually a true freshman behind Tim Tebow, I think it was, and went to junior college and then started. Jarrett Stidham didn't start as a freshman, true freshman, right? So Bo Nix was put in an obviously adverse position to begin with. But now is the time. Now is the time, you have an offensive coordinator in place, Mike Bobo, who has had some pretty good experience with quarterbacks in college football. And now is the time we see what Bo Nix is made of. We ain't talking about TJ Finley. Not tonight. We know TJ Finley is in the quarterback room. We also know that DeMarcus Davis from the state of Texas is in the quarterback room. But at this point, I want to see what Bo Nix will do with a solid summer workout. Not virtual now, and not going to some little camp, but a solid summer workout, solid fall camp, going into a season where you got 2 launch pad games with Akron and Alabama State. Penn State will be your big one, but it's not as big as, say, Oregon. I don't think Penn State is actually favored to win the Big Ten this year. But, of course, you got to look at the name, marquee name. Good football program. They play with a lot of pride up there. You got to go on the road up there. And they also have some festivities to welcome the Southerners from Auburn to town. They're going to white that thing out. It's going to be all white. As a matter of fact, that might look like familiar territory to Auburn because Auburn will appear to be the home team to a certain degree because typically when Auburn is on the road, they wear all white. Right? Night game. Going to be definitely a sight for sore eyes that night. ABC filming the game. Probably going to have Kirk Herbstreit as one of the commentators. That would be excellent. But Bo Nix again. Can he fix the accuracy issues? Right? I want him to. It just really has to come to a point where in these games, you don't have to, like going into the predictions. A lot of my prediction shows over the last 2 years have been Auburn could win this game. It just depends on which Bo Nix shows up. And it has to get to a point where there is a consistent Bo Nix that shows up and provides the proper ability from a consistency standpoint, from an accuracy standpoint, yards per pass standpoint, to be able to help the Tigers not have so many questions going into each game. Because with the roster that Auburn has, I would say that this is a 7 to 9 win roster. I'm not going to say easily, but this is I think a legit 7 to 9, maybe sneak in 10 wins with this roster. sneak in, though, because that Texas A&M and Georgia, Alabama, LSU, that little four teams, including Penn State. I'm not assuming that Auburn beats Penn State, but I think Auburn has a pretty legitimate shot at winning that game. But Bo Nix, we have to quit sugarcoating where we are with Bo Nix at this point. All right, guys, let me know what you think about this particular CarCast. Absolutely love doing these things. Go ahead and subscribe to the channel. Click the bell twice. We're approaching 4,400 subscribers. I remember when I was at 10, and I was actually shocked that I got that many people to subscribe to the channel. I remember I was shocked just to see one view, but definitely thankful for you guys' support. Once again, as always, it's great to be an Auburn Tiger. Make sure you subscribe. Also, if you feel compelled to, they got this thing out now called Cash App. You can go ahead and donate. Come on with it. $2, $3, $5, whatever you got. KENNARD, well, $ KENNARD STEWART if you got the Cash App. And as always, it's great to be an Auburn Tiger, War Eagle.